talk about choice today. Yesterday I played a tennis match and I chose to give it up to the opponent. I saw the way she was hitting the ball during our practice and I didn't like it. I wanted her to hit a different way and I wanted to have a different kind of match. I wanted to play at a different pace than she was playing and I wanted to have a different experience. And so I chose to think that this match is not worth my time with a lot of judgment. And I chose to feel defeated. And I lost that match big time. Pretty much on purpose because I thought, I don't want to play this person in this way, in the way she's playing with me, and I'd rather not waste my time. That's why I lost. Tennis is a total mind game, and it teaches me about my mindset all the time. It was my last match of the season, and I gave it up because of my mindset, and I knew what I was doing. And when I walked off that court, and I had lunch with my teammates since it was the end of the season, I didn't feel badly. I just stayed with myself. Hey, you made a choice. You decided what you wanted to think about that match and the way she played, and you decided that you wanted to feel defeated, and you decided that you wanted to play in a way that you weren't going to win. So what's there to beat myself up about? There's nothing. But you see, this is the concept of the manual. The manual concept says that I have a rule book, and it's in my head. It's not written down, but it is a book of rules, a set of rules that I've decided must be followed in order for me to be in a positive mindset, with a positive emotion, take positive actions and get a positive result. And if these rules are not followed by you, in this case the tennis player, the tennis opponent, then I get to be upset and be in a thought or mindset that says this is a waste of time and that I am going to feel defeated and I'm going to not play my own game, but rather a game that's in response to the way you play. And I'm going to lose. And I'm going to be walking off this court, playing my last match of the season with a loss. That's a manual that I followed yesterday. I expected her to be one way, and she wasn't, and I got to choose to be in the feeling of defeat. It's really interesting, and this concept goes back to any relationship, right, that I have. I expect my mom to be a certain way. I expect my mom to be somebody who's going to be loving and caring and generous and nurturing. And I expect her to cook food. And I expect her to have a clean house and an organized house and a decluttered house. And I have these rules. I have a manual for my mom. And when she didn't follow those rules for years, I made it mean something about her and also something about me. And that's how I lived most of my childhood and adolescenthood and early adulthood and probably everythinghood until about a couple of years ago. That's how I thought, right? And think about what manual is in your head for maybe not your mom, but your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your mother-in-law, your dog, your kid, your professor, your coach. Think about what you expect of that person, that if they meet those requirements, you're all good. And if they don't, you get to be pissy. You get to be upset. You get to be whiny. You get to be a victim. You get to complain. And you get to have the same results over and over and over again. Something that probably isn't what you planned. Something that makes you wonder, why do I keep getting this same result? Well, maybe it's because we have this manual that nobody knows about. It's just in your head, or in my head. And we haven't shared it with them, but yet we expect them to know. Another classic example. My husband should know that I like celebrating my birthday, and he should get me chocolate cake from Wegmans. Well, if I haven't told him that, how is he supposed to know? But the manual's in my head, and I expect him to know what the manual says when it comes to my birthday and what kind of cake I want. I know this is not a foreign concept, but maybe the way I'm saying it is resonating with you. The point is, we have thoughts, and those thoughts do cause our own feelings. It's not coming from somebody else. The husband is not making me sad and upset because I don't have cake on my birthday. The husband is just being a husband, right? The husband is being who he is. And my thought is he should know to get me cake on my birthday. My mom should know to keep an organized house and feed food to me. The tennis player should know to hit the ball with more pace so that I can feel like playing a good match. So that I can feel like being a good wife to my husband. So that I can feel like being a good daughter and connecting with my mom as her daughter. It's pretty funny when you think about it. But we all have these manuals. I definitely do, for lots of people. And it sounds entitled and it sounds judgy. But it's not positive or negative. It's just unintentional thinking. He should know. She should know. Everybody should know before I tell them. It's just an unintentional thought. Your brain is just offering you these thoughts, and we're choosing to believe them. A manual is a thought, right? Manual is just a thought. And the problem is we've just chosen to believe it over and over and over again. So when we believe the manual over and over and over again, it just gets ingrained, right? It's in the deep crevices of our brain. And so therefore it's always the first thought that comes. But it's just a thought. Manual is just a thought. Doesn't have to be believed. And if you believe it, and you get a feeling from that thought, and you take an action from that thought, and you lose a match, you don't have to beat yourself up. Because you believed a thought, that's all. So manuals are just thoughts. Manuals are those thoughts that we have in our head, and we expect others to know what they are, even though we haven't shared them with them, even though we haven't even written them down. We don't even know what they are. They could change any minute because we've decided to believe a new thought in the moment. But we didn't write it down and we didn't share it with anybody. So now it's a thought that we've believed, gotten a feeling from it, taken an action from it, and gotten a result from it. And we spin in this cycle over and over again. But there is so much to learn here. And it's such great news because that's something we can totally come out of. We can totally start to believe that any thought that comes from my brain does not have to be something I believe. That's it. I could also say something like, I'm learning to believe that I don't have to believe everything I think. Maybe getting a little meta, but I'm learning to believe that I don't have to believe everything I think. Then you can have all the manuals in the world, but they can just be floating by. And they don't have to be believed. You don't have to believe because they're just thoughts. So what if you didn't believe your thoughts? So you had lots of manuals stacked up on the shelf, one for mom, one for husband, one for dog, one for kid, one for coach, one for yourself. If I'm not this way, I'm not worthy of love. What about that one? If I don't do what I planned on doing, I have a right to beat myself up. That one probably sounds pretty familiar. I know a lot of us professionals who are doing great things, amazing things in this world, are saying to ourselves, because I'm not doing it perfectly, according to my manual for myself, I deserve to beat myself up. This has got to stop. This is not allowed. And when we let go of that thought, feeling, action loop, we get to create a connection again with ourselves and then with the parents with whom we desperately want connection, so that we can finally have conversations with them, have visits with them where it just doesn't suck all the time, where it's not so annoying and you don't want to bang your head against the wall, where you can have a lifetime of conversations with them with curiosity behind it, a lifetime of visits with them with awe-inspiring storytelling time, hearing amazing stories about what your parents did when they were younger, before they were your parents. That's what we're after. It's so fun to talk to my parents now. But I have to let go of my manual. I don't have to believe the manual that I have in my head for my mom and for my dad. I don't have to believe every thought that I have. I don't have to believe what I think. I can let the manual be, and then I can choose intentionally what I want to think. But the first thing is, what manuals am I carrying around? What rule books do I have for myself, for the weather, for the environment, for traffic, for people, for coworkers, for siblings, for in-laws? What manuals do I have that they have no idea I'm carrying around? And what would happen if I just let go of the manual? Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to see you guys again very soon. This was about the manual, a set of rules we carry around that dictate how we think, feel, act, and show up in this world. When we let go of that manual, you have an opportunity to be intentional in your thinking, how you feel, what you do, and how you show up, especially with your parents when you want to create that connection with them and have great conversations and visits with them for their lifetime. I hope you guys are well. Take care and talk to you soon.